This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. Today I'm very lucky to be joined by MTK's finest, Spencer Fearon. So thank you very much for coming on, Spencer.
How you doing, my friend?
So you've been a boxer, you've been a trainer, you've been a promoter, and even a manager. My first question is, for an amateur boxer looking to turn professional, how much amateur experience do they need, and how determined do they need to be?
It's down to the individual. You can get some kids who could win numerous titles as an amateur and don't do nothing as a pros. Or then you could get other guys who don't win anything as an amateur and turn professional and do great stuff. So it's down to the individual's mindset and also down to the tutelage and the teaching that they're receiving, which can propel them in their future. That's the truth. But more than anything, it's got to do with your mentality and how you see things. So we could go through history. And if you go through history, I don't know what you, because I could do this quote for fun. But if you look through history, there have been some superb guys that needed to go to Olympics in America, win gold medals and come back and have a fabulous career. There's certain guys that win gold medals and they don't live up to that gold medal stature. You know what I mean? Mark Breland was one of the most decorated amateur boxers in American history, right? Done everything. Won the '84 Olympics. He won the Pan American Games as well. He won loads of titles. And even though he was a two-time WBA welterweight champion, he still didn't live up to the expectation of what they had him as. They thought this guy was going to be something very, very special. It's still a special accomplishment to become a world champion, but we thought he was going to do something really, really big.
Do you think that it's down to the individual style as well? If they got a good style that would suit the pro games, they don't have to make too many adjustments when they turn over from an amateur to professional?
Well, the thing about it is this, is there's certain kids who box as an amateur, they've got professional style anyway. And you think, well, we got to look out for him because he's going to go do some stuff. There are other guys who it's just everything's tight guard and pressure. In the way of how many world titles are fragmented right now, those type of guys can still win world titles. But whether you're going to get longevity as being a world champion is going to be a totally different thing. And these are the things that when I speak about this sport that I emphatically love, I take into great consideration.
That's interesting, though. I didn't really think of that point of view before. So I just want to go over a bit about the boxing that happened just last weekend with Annie Joshua securing a highlight reel knockout performance over Kubrat Pulev. I think that a lot of people underestimated Pulev and how tough and durable he really was.
Well, the people who underestimated Pulev don't know boxing. Pulev's a very, very good fighter. You got to think one of the Hall of Famer, all-time great boxing promoters, Bob Arum, swore blind that Pulev was going to beat Anthony Joshua. You know, so Pulev's a good fighter. Can't turn around and say he's very good, but I knew that you can't be relying on that good chin of yours when you're dealing with someone like Anthony Joshua who can punch the way that he can. And also you can look on Anthony Joshua, he's still a work in progress, but his improvements it's fun to see them. It's fun to watch the improvements that he's doing, how he elongates the jab now, how he throws triple and quadruple uppercuts on the inside. Anthony Joshua's a very, very good inside fighter. So, yeah, it was good to see.
And now, obviously, everyone wants a Tyson Fury fight. The WBO apparently released a statement they're not going to step aside. And they're going to make Usyk challenge for the title.
But money talks, my friend. You know what I mean? Money talks. Talk is cheap. Money buys houses. If Pulev, if Usyk is offered a substantial amount to step aside, then he will step aside and they'll have to sort out the sanction. Because the WBO will be stupid to say, okay, then we're gonna make sure that Usyk gets a world title shot, knowing that the percentage of money that they'll make from Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua will be quadruple any form of money that they'll make from Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. So I think it'd be kind of stupid to the WBO, a title that's been around since 1989, to do this, because bottom line, we're talking about, yeah, we want to be undisputed, but if you think about it, if a man's held every conceivable belt and you're fighting the next guy, then it's kind of undisputed anyway, right? And then also, if you're a Ring Magazine champion, that is kind of saying that you're the undisputed champion. So that's it, basically. So the Ring Magazine champion is usually who we would turn around and say, because the word undisputed means that we all agree. We've got a Ring Magazine champion is the best fighter in the world. There was still some argument with that because Tyson Fury holds a Ring Magazine title. And if you go to 10 people, I reckon 7 of them would pick Tyson Fury to beat Andy Joshua. So Andy Joshua, even though he has more of the fragmented titles that are there, I don't think it's about the titles. I think it's about these two fighting. And quote unquote, it actually is for the undisputed title. So it's one of those ones. But the WBO would be stupid to mess up something this big. Like I said, money talks. Once Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum sit down and talk with the WBO, pay Usyk some step aside money, I think that's what will happen. And I think the fight will happen.
That's a good point, really. And you were saying about then how 7 out of 10 people would pick Tyson Fury. Would you be one of those 7 people, or would you be one of those 3 people?
I would make no prediction on this fight until it's properly announced. And then even that, my prediction wouldn't even come out now. It would come out most probably on the week of the fight, because I like to watch guys through build-ups, how they are in camp, and all the rest of those kind of things before I also make any form of a prediction. And plus, both men are my friends. So, you know what I mean? Even though I'm way closer to Andy Joshua than I am to Tyson Fury, but both guys I respect. I've got a lot of love in my heart for. So it's one of those kind of ones. So I'll make a prediction. That's not me trying to sit on the fence. That's just me just being real, because you don't understand how fragile this sport is. And when people say, "Oh, you say that this guy could beat that guy," and man, people, especially now, you realize, especially on the position that you got that I hold, that people get very touchy over me making a prediction and stuff like that. So I'd rather not say it until we're up in the fight. But I know how both men can win the fight. That's what I do know.
And I understand there by knowing predictions. I can imagine if you're in a training camp, training hard over 8-12 weeks, and then one of your good mates picks against you, that's really going to annoy you. But one of your good you do podcasts with, study boxing with, Tunde Ajayi, trainer manager of Anti-Yard, they took a defeat against Lyndon Arthur. I want to get your opinion of the fight, because you're a boxing analyst, you're one of the best in the game. How did you see that fight, and how did you score it?
I just scored it 1 round to Anti-Yard. But like I said, close fights are close fights. Close fights are not robberies. And that's how I saw that fight. It was a cerebral fight where you had 2 guys who were there and they were thinking, trying to outsmart each other. They were trying, you know? Very similar to, I would say, it was kind of like a Wilfred Benitez, Sugar Ray Leonard. That was Caesar's Palace 1979, November 1979. So it was kind of like that kind of fight where they were both trying to figure out each other, and Lyndon Arthur was very, very offensive and technically smart with his jab. And it's weird. Usually we get punch stats. I'd like to see the punch stats on that fight. I really would like to see the punch stats on the fight. But what I've noticed is like Tunde's getting a lot of criticism right now off of the back of the fight. And it's because when this fight goes, it's a thin line between genius and idiot, right? It's a very thin line. And when things are working, then you're a genius. If it don't work, then you're an idiot. And that's all that's happening right now.
And just got one last question, because you know you're a very busy man. But besides from Tyson Fury and Andy Joshua and Spence and Crawford, if you can make one other fight in boxing right now, what would it be?
Most probably Teofimo Lopez versus Gervonta Davis.
Do you think comes out on top, or you can't decide till fight week, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't really decide till fight week, but at this present moment, I would slightly favor Teofimo Lopez. But if you can punch like Gervonta Davis, and it seems like he's being more disciplined about making weight, because he impressed me greatly against Leo Santa Cruz in that uppercut. Made me look good because I predicted he'll knock him out in 6 rounds, right? That uppercut was hellacious. So I'm not rightly sure, my friend. I mean, I'm not rightly sure, but I would slightly lean towards Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, that's a good point because Tank, he's got fire in both hands and he can box as well. It's not like a Wilder who can't really box, but you can really punch. Tank can do both. And Lopez is just a star. I think he's right now he's the best in the division. All right, Spencer,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, Spencer. I really appreciate
No, no. How old are you, sir?
the 16.
You're 16. It's young men like you. Just keep on pushing forward, my friend. Any help that you need to try to interview anyone, just let me know. I'll get them on. You got to keep on pushing forward because you, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you guys are carrying the sport. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's young guys like you who immerse themselves but want to know the history of the sport. And remember, what you know today is tomorrow's history. So just keep on learning. You know what I mean? That's what I've got to say to you guys. When I mean like I study boxing, I religiously study this sport. And it hasn't been, and it's weird. It's only from when I retired from the sport, I started to understand boxing. It's a shame because if I understood boxing when I was fighting, I'd accomplish way more. But I've been fortunate enough now to get a second shot at the title, to do other stuff. So I'm saying to you, my friend, just keep on pushing forward and keep on posting like you make your videos, post them up on Instagram, send it out to loads of people, ask them to share your stuff, engage with people. Anyone writes a comment, you write back. These are the things that make you build up. Trust me. Right? And when you do that, the sky's the limit for you. All right, brother? You take care. God bless.
Thank you very much, Spencer. I'll bear that in mind. I really
No problem, man. Take care.